Hi guys, and welcome to part 6 of the Coke build series. In this episode, we'll be starting on some of the bodywork, fitting the fuel tanks and side storage containers, and also to begin with putting the floor plates um, that surround the fuel tanks on. Yeah, it's quite a simple video really. I mean, not much going on, but it's all stuff that kind of helps with the image in the long run and kind of essentials. Well, it's all essential really, but key parts of a build where things can start to appear to come together. It is a little bit of a fiddly process to start with, so what I've done there is I've just sped up the film. So yeah, there'll be a few points throughout the episode where I will speed up the footage, just as it is quite a time-taking process and it's all rather repetitive. Um, I was also spending a lot of time looking at the instructions for this bit, as as like the American trucks that do have a different layout to the European ones, and at the time I was more familiar with the European trucks, so yeah, this was all fairly new to me as well. So yeah, the floor plates were two parts that I'd put together off camera. There's the chrome plastic part, that's the top part that you can see when you run in the truck, and then underneath it's got the metal um, supporting plates that are kind of black in appearance. It just adds a bit of strength to it really. So that's now the two floor plates on. So next is time to fit the fuel tanks and then the storage containers. One of the storage containers does contain the control unit, so it contains like the power switch, volume controls, and the buttons for things like the lights. Fuel tanks again are different to the European style ones, as for a start they're chrome rather than black, and they're also like round and look more like barrels than the European style square ones. The fuel tanks do fit directly to the chassis. They use four small screws. There's two on the top and two on the bottom of each one. So, I mean, as it is quite a time-taking process, uh, and yeah, well, the main difficulty I had really was actually getting the screw to line up with the hole. So yeah, I will be speeding this up a little bit further down the line, but I'll leave it at regular pace for now, just to fit the first fuel tank, and so then really like you can see the time it does really take, and also I can actually see how it does actually go together. So that's the two top screws in. So I was just referring back to the instructions there to see how to approach it next. Just checking they're tight there now. And then turning the chassis over, and there'll be two more screws to go in the bottom that also go through to the chassis. So again, using thread lock on the end of each screw, yeah, just keeps it secure really. I mean, you don't really want a fuel tank coming loose. Once the gearbox and such things are also added, it can be quite difficult to get to the screws for the fuel tank. So yeah, it is best to use a bit of thread lock on them just to just to keep it secure and make sure you don't have to go back after the build completed to refit a loose fuel tank. So just putting the last screw in there now, and yeah, I'll be speeding the footage up now to so that's both the fuel tanks on now. Now it's time to put the plastic containers on. Yeah, I'll speed the footage up again here, and it isn't really the best of angles for viewing. I did find this bit quite fiddly. There's little ledges that go through the base plate, and yeah, it did just seem kind of unnecessarily difficult for me. I don't know what experience you guys have had with it, but I did find that they did make the fitting of those containers more challenging than it needed to be. Gotta say, I mean, obviously the method they used does work. I mean, I've never had any problems with them coming loose or anything, and I mean, to be fair, over the 2 years that I've had the truck now, I mean, they have taken a bit of a battering. So yeah, I mean, it does hold up pretty well. Yeah, the second container just going on now, putting the last screws in. The wires on this one do come through the back, as it contains the control unit. It's quite a nice place to have the controls really. I mean, the wires are then easily fed through to wherever you put the MFU, and can easily be tucked out of the way as well. So the controls are also well accessible from there. So once the truck's built, it's really simple really to get to the controls to turn the truck on, turn it off, adjust the volume or whatever else you want to do. So that's it for this video. In the next video, part 7, I'll be putting the gearbox together and then fitting that.